Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and today we're going to get some insight into essay coaching. My guests today are Kim Festa and Jake Gursaly. They are the co-owners of Veritas Essay Coaching. And welcome to the show.
Hi, we're happy to be here.
Yeah, so usually I start my guests where they went to school. So where did you go to school?
Yeah, so I attended Ramapo College. I graduated there with a degree in education. And I also attended graduate school there as well, where I received my master's in special education.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
We're so happy to be here. I graduated from Boston University with a degree in mass communications, and then I got my master's at Harvard.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
So let's just go back in time before we get into what it's all about and what essay coaching is all about. So in high school, when did it all start for you? Was it freshman year of high school, senior year? When did it all begin where you said, I know I'm going to college?
For me, I was a first-generation college student. My grandparents were immigrants from Italy, and my parents did not attend college. So for me, it was really an opportunity. I knew that the minute that my third grade teacher gave me a journal and told me that I'd be a writer one day, I really pursued that dream and wanted to go to Boston University. That was my first choice. I wanted to be a journalist, and I really enjoy. I have a big writing background, and that's how I kind of got into the whole writing game. But I also knew that I loved kids, particularly teenagers and adolescents. So that kind of curiosity really led me over to Harvard to really study risk and resilience, particularly in adolescents, and kind of see how I could use writing as a form of resilience, you know, and so here we are.
Wow.
So.
Yes, and I always knew I wanted to go to college. My parents really influenced me to attend university and to study education. And I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. Even from the time when I was about 16, sophomore in high school, I started working with kids one-on-one when I was in high school, tutoring them in different subjects. And I really just enjoyed the process of building connections with students. And it really just came naturally to me. I really always had great teachers in high school and in grade school. And they always had a really big influence on me and an impact on my upbringing. And I wanted to pay that forward to the next generation, and I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I also was a college athlete. I played baseball over at Ramapo, and I always knew I wanted to pursue playing at the next level. And it was just an absolute honor to be able to study education and to become a teacher and to also play baseball along the way. But yeah.
So now, how does one go from graduating college to, you know, becoming essay coaches and starting your own business? How did this all begin?
So basically, this all began from a conversation one winter afternoon. Both Jake and I teach at Valley Middle School in Oakland, New Jersey. And from there, we co-taught a class, and we really love to show up for kids' stories. We love to build relationships with those kids. And we feel like even though middle school might be one of the most challenging, ages to teach, we feel like that we have such a deep connection with adolescents and understanding because of it. And with that, we really were, I have a big writing background, and I have done this informally for years. But I was thinking, I have 3 sons myself who are currently still going through the process, but are also in law school and college as well. I was talking to him, and with his background and his skill set, with just having the lens and soul of an athlete and my background as a writer, we both felt that if we joined forces, that we could really establish this dual coach perspective, where we could really make this process just so easy and engaging for kids and inviting rather than riddled with so much stress that it typically has.
Yeah. So now, how long have you had the business?
For about a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
so pretty new to it.
Oh, wow. So now, when a student comes to you, do they come to you with not just about essay, but about school itself? How does it all begin for the student? How do you even find them?
So many ways that we find our students. I have a pretty big network, and I've been doing this informally with myself for many, many years. We reached out to a lot of different schools. We offered a lot of boot camps to make this accessible to a lot of student athletes as well, who might not have the time with the rigor of their practices and their structured schedule. So we did a lot of summer boot camps to kind of get these kids to really understand what this process is all about and why the essay matters so much. So we've done that. We have worked not only in our own local community of Oakland, we've also worked in a lot of networking abilities in Bergen County as well, so mainly based in North Jersey.
I gotcha. Okay, so they come to you, they want to do essay writing. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how do you start with what type of essay should they start to write?
Yes.
Where does that all come from?
Yeah, so what's the role of a college essay coach, right? That's the big question. So where we come in is to help the students unlock that hidden angle into their essay that's going to allow them to separate themselves from the rest of the applicants, right? So these people on the admissions committee are reading tens of thousands of these essays. And the big question is, how can I make mine stand out? Well, why is mine special? What makes me different? And a big myth in the college essay game is that the admissions committee wants you to write about something specific. And the truth is, that's not the case. They want you to write from your soul and to write a true story about your life that no one else can write. If you're writing a big general essay that you can erase the name and put another name in there and it could still tell the same story, that one's not gonna stand out. It's where we come in and having the dual perspective, we both have a different lens on it. So it allows us to even reach the most reluctant clients and even the kids who I have no idea what I want to write about. I didn't have this terrible experience or this outstanding accomplishment that changed the lives of millions of people. And where we come in, we try to tell the students some of the best stories come from the smallest moments and the smallest details, right? It doesn't have to be, I spearheaded this program that impacted the lives of tens of thousands of people. It could be an everyday thing, something about your daily routine, something about a family tradition. It could be about the smallest little thing, and it can make the most compelling story.
We've had so many different essay topics. I mean, some of our best essays were from a kid who said he learned the best life lessons from making chicken cutlets with his Nona in the kitchen. From a kid who had a certain mug that followed him and was the one constant throughout his childhood. So it's from those small, like to Jake's point, those small mundane details that really humanize the application. And that is why the essay matters, because especially for some schools, on paper, statistically, everything is quantifiable in terms of GPA, statistics, test scores, things like that. What isn't so quantifiable is that essay. That essay is the only breathing, living portion of that application. And a lot of people seem to think that it has to be this perfect, polished, essay that you would write in a high school English class. And that's not necessarily the case. It has to showcase growth, vulnerability, and be something that's real and very, very authentic.
So they come to you, do they ask, how many pages does it have to be? Is it just one paragraph? Is it a whole novel? What's it like?
Well, we start from the ground up. A lot of kids come with us with maybe an idea, but we really we've developed a lot of journalistic type questioning for them, and we ask a lot of out-of-the-box questions to get those little angles, those mundane details. And from that, we sort of help them identify what is going to be a compelling topic that's really going to give them some kind of humanization in the application, beyond the numbers, beyond the grades, beyond the AP courses and stuff like that. And then from there, we help them develop that idea. We have them brainstorm. We do a collective brainstorming. And then from there, we work on the drafting process, where they give us a lot of their drafts, and we give a lot of strategic revisions. And we tell them, maybe we could say this way, or maybe go in this direction. And then we see them through its polished fruition.
And again, could it be a couple pages or one page?
So the max is 650 words. They have 650 words or less. And where Kim and I come in is to help them capture what they're trying to show the commissions committee in that, that word count, right? So, we try to help the kids realize that, yes, the admissions committee is reading so many of these. You need to captivate your audience in the first 100 words, right? if I'm reading 60, 70 of these a night as a part of the admissions committee, if yours isn't interesting in the first 100 words, it's gonna lose interest in the admissions committee, right? They're gonna put it off to the side and read the next ones. That's where Kim and I come in and we help them unlock that hidden angle and that unique angle that will help them separate themselves from the rest.
So now the biggest question now these days is not so much just the essay, but do you find that now AI is coming into effect with your business?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you asked that question because that's the big elephant in the room because it's so new to so many people, especially in the outside world, that people think, well, I can just go and chat GPT this. And the difference between an essay coach and the role of like certain platforms like ChatGPT or any kind of AI is that AI really has no soul. AI will deliver a beautifully grammatically perfect essay with great sentence structure and all that stuff, but it will be stiff. It will not give that vulnerable window into who that person is and what they bring. It's not going to give those shaded nuances of who that applicant really is behind those numbers. That essay, and the whole primary focus of that essay is to take you from a statistic to a story. Colleges want living, and it seems ironic because with all of this AI, which does have its evolving role in education, and we're not anti-AI, but the thing is, it can't really capture the soul of someone's narrative. It can't tell anyone's human story.
Does it give the student an ability to say, oh, that's something I didn't think of, and then write an essay based off of something that AI popped up with them?
Absolutely, and I feel like Kim is alluding to, it has a place in education, maybe with some idea generation and to help them, get some ideas about what's important to them or what they want to write about, but it doesn't allow them to really get their true story across because AI or the robot, it doesn't know the applicants. It doesn't have those specific details that those students really underwent in order to arrive at this story and to get there.
How many students do you work with on a yearly basis? Is there a lot of students that you're getting from all the different schools?
We do have plenty of different students. We do two types of platforms. We can work as a boot camp model, which we've done over the summer, especially to kind of accommodate a lot of students in their sports schedules and things like that, and also to beat the rush because the common application, which isn't what everybody uses. The UC schools use something different, but that opens August 1st. So a lot of kids like to kind of beat the rush in advance of that, but we also do a lot of private coaching. And we've had, our October was so busy, I think we worked, I don't even know, what would you say, maybe 15-hour days from our day job we would go in. Yes, because we were pretty in demand. Just because there's a lot of mythology behind the essay. Kids are like, I'm not special enough. I don't have a sob story. And a lot of that is us demythologizing that whole process about what the essay really is about. I think a lot of parents sometimes also were like, especially for their firstborn, and if they have a firstborn, it's like, I don't know how to help this student, I don't know. And it really just needs sometimes it just needs an extra set of eyes or somebody to help you think out loud. And that's where we come into play, where we help the student think out loud and really identify through our journalistic approach various angles that could be something great. The smallest stories, like I said, the chicken cutlet story was fantastic. The kid really learned a lot about life based on making those small moments with his Nona.
And the best essays leave the reader feeling like they know the applicant in a way, right? It should be conversational. It shouldn't be stiff, formulaic writing like AI produces, even though it's grammatically structured and perfect. It's stiff, it's formulaic, it's written by a robot per se. So it doesn't have any soul and it doesn't have those specific details that only a human can write from their soul.
So now how do students find you? Is it just online based stuff or do they actually go somewhere?
It's been a lot of word of mouth. So even though I've been doing this for a number of years, when we kind of joined forces and put it out there, especially to the different sports communities, once we would work with one group, it sort of is like that commercial from the 70s and so on and so on and so on kind of thing. But yeah, so it's a lot of word of mouth. And we never take clients separately. We work as a team because we feel like that dual perspective and that dual lens really does bring out the best in each kid. We want to make it so that the kid is is not so stressed. When we go in there, we always say, I know this looks like an FBI interrogation. We're sitting across from you and asking you all these great details about your life. But the truth is that we really are middle school teachers. We know how to crack jokes. We know how to make a kid feel comfortable. My mother of 3 boys, so I kind of have a little experience with that. And so I think it's with that combination of fun questioning and our genuine humor that we both bring to the table, that we kind of can relax the kid and get the best story, something that they weren't thinking about, and kind of calm them down to release their different truth.
Yeah, and we feel like lightening the mood and making it more of an enjoyable process empowers the student in a way. They will come in stressed out, anxious, and overwhelmed with the whole college essay process. You know, what do I write about? What are they really looking for? And Kim and I try to, you know, ease their nerves a little bit. And although we take this extremely seriously, we let our humor kind of show through. And we're middle school teachers, like Kim was saying. We know how to connect with kids at their most awkward stages and where there's a lot of confusion and changes going on in their life. So we're used to building those relationships and building those connections. And we feel like that's the most important part, the interview process or the idea generation process. Landing on an excellent topic is the most important part. If you pick a topic that thousands of other kids can write about, it's not going to separate you from the crowd.
So we're coming to the end of our show, and usually I ask my guests, what advice do you want to give to the parents and the students that are watching? What advice do you want to give them?
So the number one piece of advice I would give is just to be authentic, be yourself. Don't be afraid to write about something that's vulnerable or something that is an amazing accomplishment. But you shouldn't be thinking about what the admission committee wants. Be your true self and write from those rawest truths and those lived moments that only you can write about. If you can write, like I was saying, a story that other people can, it's gonna fall short. And being authentic and really, you know, just not being afraid of unapologetically being yourself is my number one piece of advice. Just go out there and write who you are beyond the statistic, beyond this SAT score, and beyond the GPA.
Absolutely. I would also say to parents, take a deep breath. Kids always bloom where they are planted. And I will also say about the essay, there's a difference between a good essay and a great essay. That standout essay should feel like the most interesting guest at the dinner party has arrived, took the seat at the table, and you want to know more. So don't be afraid to go there, to showcase your growth, to celebrate who you are, and to take a deep breath, because you know what? Everybody always lands where they're supposed to.
Great. Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having us.
Such a pleasure to
Absolute
be
pleasure.
here. Thank you.
So you've been watching The Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva. Until next time.